My name is Jordan Wiegand, and this is Enter Flash Time, where we slow time down, examine, and take an in depth look at each episode of the Arrowverse series, The Flash, and any episode he may appear in the larger universe. Today, before we start kicking off, the actual episode coverage continues our preseason coverage as I'm going through. And last week, I ranked my favorite uh, seasons via a tier ranking, and I decided I would do the same thing this time for Flash live action suits. Now, here's the fun part: I am not going to be beholden to the Arrowverse suits. So, I think we just talk about like what this show got right, what it got wrong, stuff like that throughout the journey. Um, One thing I want to do here is just talk about Flash as a whole and kind of kick off the preseason coverage. Um, with the Arrowverse ranking of the seasons for the Flash last week, but this time I want to focus on just the Flash as a character himself and the best live action interpretations of the character. But today we're going to be ranking suits of all live action Arrowverse, and you know what? All live action Flash. You know what? Most of these appear in the Arrowverse as well. Is a fun little nod that we can kind of discuss throughout this, but let me go ahead and add it to the screen here. If you're listening on Spotify, I believe you're able to watch the video as well, the way I've been doing this. But I think the other platforms may have video podcasts. If not, you can watch on YouTube, or I'm going to try my best to describe this stuff over the audio. So that way, if you're listening to the audio, you understand what suits we're talking about here. So yeah, we have the S tier, the A tier, the B tier, the C tier, the D tier. That's what we have ready to go. And we have, I think, 14 images here. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. I don't think I'm going to go as long as I did for the seasons discussion, because some of these I don't think are going to be as in depth, I guess, of a discussion. But let's start it off with where it all began, which was the 1990s Flash live action series. And I think most people would agree, and I don't think this is going to be controversial at all. I have this as an S tier costume. The 90s was a wild time, but one thing it really nailed, especially that series, was the suit. Could you maybe improve it a little bit? I think you could, honestly. Like, I would think the DCU might be able to make this, but I don't know, because a lot of times now in superhero movies, you get a lot of the lines on the suit. Like, that's very controversial with the Superman movie right now, right? Stuff like that. This is just like straight ripped out from like those, I would say, like Mark Waid writing, era of the Flash suits. Like, that's what he looks like. Wally West Flash type look, even though this is Barry Allen in the show. But it's just like a perfect interpretation. Is it maybe a little too padded at times? Yeah, but I think those are all nitpicks. Maybe the nitpick would be as well that it doesn't have the yellow boots, but this is as close. This is as best of a suit I think you're going to get potentially ever. So I think we'll see where that goes. But I really dig the suit. I still haven't seen the full original series. I got the Blu-ray last year and watched a couple of the episodes, and then my son was born, and time to sit down and watch those kind of went out the window for a bit. And now I just got to try to find time to get back to them after, especially if my podcasting at all, I have a lot of them. And one of them is, Soups and Sabers, where we kind of mixed in our DC podcast, Marvel podcast, and Star Wars podcast, and fantasy podcast. But we've just been in a string as of this recording of show after show after show after show, movie show, that we're talking about, from Skeleton Crew to Falcon, not Falcon, Captain America, Brave New World, then to Andor with Thunderbolts, and now going into, just show after show after show. Especially because we also had Creature Commandos earlier, Penguin, stuff like that. So it's been a lot. So I'm hoping to be able, now that it's going to start clearing up again until we kind of get to the summer, I think. Um, hopefully I can get back to the show because I really dug the first few episodes I watched of it, and I think um, yeah, that helped as well. But as we were talking about suits that do make an appearance in the Arrowverse, this does right in Crisis and in Elseworlds. Um, John Wesley Shipp comes back as this version of the Flash and wears the suit. So not so it is kind of ranking the Arrowverse suits a bit. This is one that does appear in it. But yeah, so there you go. Live action Flash suit S tier is that iconic John Wesley Shipp 1990s Flash costume. All right, it looks like next one we have here is Justice League's Flash. Um I'll tell you this much. I'm not a fan too much of the Snyderverse, the old DCEU that much. And I don't really like the look of these flash suits. I'll go ahead and put it as a C because it is red. It has the iconic stuff, but I'm not super big on it to be honest. So we'll put that as C tier. And then for this, I guess this is the Nightmare Vision one. I'm gonna put that in D tier. Okay. Um, just don't really dig that one at all. Okay, but the C tier one, the BVS, well, not BVS, but Justice League suit, um, that does also appear in the Arrowverse. That's what I was talking about as well. In Crisis, you have them come face to face, and I believe it's this suit that we see. So, pretty cool. That, like I said, most of these are going to appear in that. Okay. Interestingly, now we have the movie version of the Flash. We have 2023 is the Flash, which I like that movie more than some. I would say there are times this suit looks really wonky. There are times this suit looks really great. I think if it wasn't a full CG suit, like most of the time, I think I would probably bump it up a bit. I'm gonna end up putting it C tier, but in front of the Justice League suit. Like I said, the CG looks wonky a little bit at times, but I like the color red that it is more than what we see in Justice League. All right, I think we also have to put probably D tier is this one that they have from Ferris Air in like the first episode of the Flash, where he's just wearing red track uniform type thing. I'm gonna put that in the D tier, but above Nightmare Vision Flash. How about that? So that's where we will put those. So far, nothing in A and B. I think that's about to change. I think that's about to change. While I don't like the color as much, and the weird red in the circle instead of white in the circle of the logo, I think the maroon first season Flash is going to end up a little higher on my list, probably a B tier, because partly not just because of look, but partly because of how good the first season of the Flash is. So I think I'm going to kind of put it there. I can kind of see what they were going for. Maybe I don't know what their original intention was, and I'd like to kind of figure this out as we go through the show as well and look at behind the scenes stuff if possible. But if it was just trying to make it look more realistic in the Arrowverse, and then eventually they got more fantastical with it, or if it was the kind of standard that we've been seeing in superhero media lately of the hero has to kind of earn their suit. So they start off with the red circle, and then eventually they're going to end up with the white circle. Then they're going to end up with uh, the lighter red and the gold boots, which we waited forever for. Those type of things. With that, I will go ahead and say above it in the B tier, though, is the maroon suit. I guess this is from, I forget what season this is. Season 2, maybe? 2 or 3, where he's got the white logo, the white circle with the lightning bolt, but the same sort of maroon color suit. So that's going to stay in the B tier, but it is a step up from the first season suit. That's where I'm going to put that. And then we have like the season 5. Well, no, I don't know which one this is. This is a red suit, leather suit. with the white logo, but it's more red than maroon. So this is going to automatically go A tier because I think it's a step up from those other ones. And I think what I'm going to do too, the season 5 suit, I'm going to go ahead and put kind of in the middle of the B tier. So that's the one from like that doesn't have it has like the open cowl at the bottom with the jaw exposed. And I think I like the color of the suit, but I'm not too big on the fact that the jaw is so exposed. I don't think it looks as good. Um, Maybe if it was closed up a bit, it would be better. Because I think what I'm going to put also in the A tier and probably my favorite suit of the show is kind of that later season suit where we have the more like maybe felt material, the white circle with the lightning bolt. The lightning bolts are, on the ears are kind of out more. The jaw is covered. It's kind of like an evolution of that season 5 suit. I think it's the season 6 and onward suit. And if we just act like season nine's version of it with the gold boots is the one we're putting here, that's probably going to be in the A tier as well. But like I said, I don't think it was going to take us as long as the seasons did, because some of these are just little tweaks, but I'll go ahead and read back through them again here on what we're thinking. So, S tier, we have the 1990 John Wesley ship, Flash look, best suit in live action. Just a step below, I do have 2 CW Flash suits. We have kind of like the one that we end the show on, and I think that's season 4's, brighter red leather suit, white logo. We have that there. The B tier, we have leather suit maroon with the white logo. Looks good in this image. Also in the B tier, we kind of have the brighter red, but we have the open cowl. I believe this is season 5 suit. That is there. Then we have season 1 suit with the maroon, with the red logo, with the lightning bolt, finishing out the B tier. B tier is the one that has the most. C tier, we have 2023's The Flash, the movie, and 2017's Justice League, and I would assume this is 2021's Zack Snyder's Justice League look as well. I've seen it. I've only watched it the one time. Don't really remember. But I think the image might be from 2017. And then D tier, we have like the season 1 Ferris Air Flash testing his abilities, red spandex look. And then we have next to that in the D tier, the Nightmare Vision, it looks like, for Zack Snyder's Justice League in the epilogue. So that's kind of where we end with our tier rankings of Flash live action suits. Thank you all for watching or listening along with us. If you're watching on the Spotify or listening on the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you go, make sure to rate and review the show. Might be a little difficult because we haven't actually gotten to the bulk of the stuff yet, but just kind of habit to say for all my other shows. But the plan is to, like I said on the last episode, start recording sometime this summer. I'm trying to record a few episodes before I release them. So I'm kind of doing these as get to know my thoughts on The Flash before we dive into the first episodes. Like I mentioned before, the way that we're doing this, the way I mentioned at the top of the show, is diving into each episode that The Flash appears in, as well as the Flash TV show. So that means the first episodes we're actually going to cover are the 2 Arrow episodes in season 2 when Barry Allen was first introduced into the Arrowverse. So we will start with those episodes. I actually don't know where to go from, and I guess these could have been added to things as well, like the Wally suits and stuff like that. Part of me is very curious on how I should go about, like, maybe that would be like in between seasons or something, but I'm thinking like at times, like, should I cover like the Legends episodes that Wally appears in, because he is technically one of like the Flashes, right? And he is Kid Flash. I think that could be fun. Now, do I do that and mix it in with my normal coverage, or do I do it as like a separate thing later on? What our thoughts were on him being in Legends for like the season he was, those type of things. That's kind of down the road, though. I mean, that is kind of farther down the road once we get started. But let me know your thoughts. Should I talk Kid Flash, Wally West being in Legends as part of this Enter Flash time, since I'm kind of going into each one Barry's in, but maybe I go into each main like Flash person that actually has like super speed. Because that opens up some possibilities there. I don't know if I want to get too involved with it where I'm like, oh, let's, Grodd was in in Legends, or Reverse Flash was in Legends. Do I do those episodes? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and if I should or not. And you can reach us and send all of your feedback to at Twitter at enter_flashtime, or email us enterflashpod@gmail.com, or you can even Facebook us at facebook.com/enterflashtime, where we will you can let us know your thoughts specifically on should I cover those episodes or not. Let us know. Thank you again for watching and listening along with us. Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next time with maybe some more preseason coverage before we kick off and enter Flash Time.